Okay. I actually saw SmackDown last night, and I'm gonna do my best not to make this into a very long rant, and it's gonna be very hard to, because there are a lot of things that I don't get of what they're doing now. I just did a video not that long ago about Roman Reigns, actually about maybe a few weeks ago, about Roman Reigns and his new undisputed title design. Prior to that, I actually did a video on Seth's new WWE World Heavyweight Championship design, which I didn't like either one. And now now they just did one with Asuka. They actually revealed her title last night, and I'm actually recording this on Saturday morning. They actually did it last night and Friday night on SmackDown. They revealed a brand new title. It is the most boring design, and the reason why I say it's boring because it looks exactly like the men's. And yeah, I said, and I'm not gonna lie, I loved when they actually retired the Divas belt, and this was in 2016 for that WrestleMania, and I think it was WrestleMania 32. For WrestleMania 32, when they revealed the first title, I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. The white trim, the white leather trim, the red background, and the diamonds or crystals in the middle just made it look like it just popped. Everything just looked gorgeous. It was definitely separate from the men's. It did not look like the men's title. It looked like it was something that was theirs. It looked like they cared with that design. And I loved that first design. Absolutely. Before they decided to give SmackDown their title, which they should have in the first place, and they decided to make it blue. Which is okay. It still looked pretty nice because the blue background with the white really did work. But in this case, with the women's, they had white trim with gold frame and then onyx crystals on the inside. And it looks split image like the men. And I know that we're into equality and all this other stuff that's all over the place. But in this case, when it comes to the women division and how hard they work to get noticed, it actually had more worth with that look in 2016, because we all knew before that, years before, women's matches were just bathroom breaks. Women's matches were just TNA. We know that. They had more worth in 2016 because it felt like they finally heard the fans' complaints. It felt like they finally heard the wrestlers' complaints. It finally felt like that they actually gave the divas a chance. And even though they're not divas, they're women's wrestlers, and they changed it that way. In 2016, it felt like it mattered because of how hard they worked to get noticed. Now, I'm sorry, probably around maybe 2018, the women's division started to drop. It drops even further now because at WrestleMania, they barely had a storyline that was on air. Barely any storyline build at all. Their matches were phenomenal because they had a lot to prove, but they never got any recognition or any push towards their storylines at all. It was too focused on the bloodline. And I've already done a video on that, of how pathetic that belt looks and how it was literally demeaning for the tribal chief to even touch it. And I'm not even a big fan of the tribal chief anymore. I'm not a big fan of Roman Reigns, but he deserves to have a belt that looks way better than that. The same thing with Asuka, who has worked her butt off at the main roster, constantly being ignored right and left. Finally beating somebody at WrestleMania after Charlotte pretty much kind of ruined her entire reign. And I'm not going to really down Charlotte for that, because the match itself was phenomenal. She was not squashed. That match was great, but it didn't do anything for Asuka's career because they didn't book her very well for years. When she finally beat, and I'm not gonna lie, in a very clever way, the way that she beat Bianca Belair was fitting of a heel to take her title. Very fitting and very clever of a heel. I love that match for that reason. The strategy was amazing. The fact that she won that belt in that way, the fact that she turned on her full Kana and decided to actually be the heel she needed to be and win that title, she deserves a better look than that. Not anything generic like what they did with Roman Reigns, what they did with the World Heavyweight Championship. The World Championship that they had for Seth, at least they put some thought into it. They wanted to pay homage to the big buckle belt, the big gold buckle belt, the one that Ric Flair held for so long. There have been many champions before him that's held that title. But y'all know how much I love Ric Flair. And that belt was supposed to pay homage to that with their own twist. At least they had some thought with that belt. They had no thought with Romans. No thought with Romans, no thought with Asuka at all. And now I'm hearing that they're going to have a unification match for the NXT Women's Championship and for the Raw and for the women's tag match, the women's tag championship on the main roster. They're going to have a unification match for that. Okay. I'm not going to lie. The NXT titles look way better than the main roster titles as of right now. They're going to have a unification. Please do not make it boring. Don't make it boring. And it seems like they're going to actually have the tag teams travel from one way to another. From one place to another, from one brand to another. But here's my question with this. Why haven't they done that with the men's yet? Why haven't they done that with the men's yet? How come they didn't do that after WrestleMania? How come they didn't do that with Asuka after WrestleMania? Why did they wait so long? Why did they wait so long? And don't tell me because they had to make the belts. They planned months in advance to get these belts made. These belts were probably already done before the event happened. So don't give me that crap because I will never fall for that. These belts are hideous looking, at least to me, because they have more worth for the people holding it. It should mean something for the people holding it so they have something to uphold and fight for. It has to matter. And I feel bad that the women, they're getting a crap end of the stick. They have for a while now, especially Asuka. And the sad thing is, I love Charlotte. I really do. A lot of people don't like her because she's shoehorned into everything. I will not disagree with you on that. But Charlotte will probably bring more worth to that belt than Asuka could ever do in a day. And it's not Asuka's fault. It's how she's booked. They don't book foreigners well. We know this for many years. They haven't booked her well since she's got on the main roster. They want to bring a legacy to that title, no matter how ugly it is. So they're going to put it on Charlotte. And my example for putting it on Charlotte is that Charlotte's going to elevate that title no matter how ugly it looks. They did the same exact thing with Brock when they gave him the licorice belt, the red licorice belt that was held by Finn Balor for the first time, to where that Finn Balor unfortunately had to vacate it because of his injury. But even he couldn't hold that up because people were booing it. But when Brock had it, he elevated that title and made people actually not think about how ugly it was. People were looking at Brock. That's what they're going to do. They're going to give it to Charlotte. Charlotte's going to elevate it, no matter how ugly it looks, and make it into something. Because Asuka cannot do that. They're not going to book her well enough to do that, which is sad. With the tag titles, let's be real. They're going to give it to Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. We know this. We know this. We know this already. There is no way that Alba Fire and Isla Dawn and Isla Dawn, whatever, Fire and Dawn, they're not going to keep it. They're not going to keep their titles. They're going to lose it. They're going to lose it to Shayna Baszler and to Ronda Rousey. We know this. Why? Because they're bigger names. Well, not Shayna, but Ronda is. She's a way bigger name with more clout. She's going to probably take the titles. They're going to unify. They're going to unify them, and they're going to make them into another crappy design. But they're going to give that crappy design to Ronda and to Shayna to build up. This is what they're going to do here. It's not even about the look anymore. It's about the person. And I'm realizing that's probably what they're doing. They're not going to make these belts look special. They're going to make the people they're going to use the people to make the belt special, which I don't think is fair. If y'all want to sell it, they're thinking that, okay, these people are big enough names. They're going to put money in our laps because they're going to elevate this belt so high to where people are going to buy them anyway, which is probably what's going to happen. But to be honest with you, the reason why people love the Wing Eagle belt, the reason why the people love the IC Championship, the classic one, and I'm sorry, I'm a big fan of Ultimate Warrior's design, and I'm a big fan of the design that Cody Rhodes brought back because they look regal. They look like they matter. The design looked like they put effort into it. That's just me. I love how they crafted it. These belts look flat out generic. I would never buy these things. Even if Ronda Rousey was elevating them, but they're not looking for adults. They're looking for kids. They're looking for teens. Anybody that's going to see someone very popular buying it, they're going to run to it. That's my theory on that. But I think it's pretty sad that how hard these wrestlers work. They should have something worth holding. But honestly, maybe it is just me as a fan thinking, because if you're a wrestler and you never had a championship in your hands, no matter how butt ugly it looked, you wouldn't care, because that is your championship and you're going to make it into something. So yeah, maybe I'm just thinking like a fan. No, I know I'm thinking like a fan. I'm not a wrestler. I know I'm thinking like a fan. But I still think that these wrestlers deserve to have something that is a fraction of them into that title. That's just my thoughts on that. I want to hear your thoughts. What do you guys think about this new design that they gave Asuka? What do you guys think about the previous designs? Because I'm not going to lie, these are just jacked up, ugly designs that they don't put any effort in because they just seem cheap. And now they're going to make different designs for the women's championship, which I don't think is fair because they haven't done that to the men's yet. But that's just me. But I think that they can care less about these designs. And even though I think a little fraction of the person that won them should actually matter in the design of the title besides the buckles on the corner, I mean, that's just me. I think they should put more effort and worth into how they look. Not only just to sell for for the public masses, but also for the wrestlers that win them. That's just me. But I want to hear your thoughts on this. Leave it in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.